There are places in this world where land and sky no longer trade politely, where the earth falls away without warning, and the only solid ground is the rock you cling to. In these places, vertical, exposed, and brutal, people have built homes, not for the view, not for wonder, but because survival demanded it. Across continents and centuries, entire communities have carved their lives into the cliffs. Stone walls become shelter, rope ladders replace roads, crops grow in narrow terraces above nothing but air. These are not ruins of the reckless. They are evidence of deep planning, adaptation, and need. This is the story of cliff people, of those who chose the edge when the center was no longer safe, who built not to defy gravity, but to endure it. And in the silence of these heights, they left behind more than stone. They left behind proof of what it means to endure the impossible. Mesa Verde. 800 years ago, when most of Europe was still struggling with basic construction techniques, the ancestral Puebloans of Mesa Verde were performing architectural miracles that modern engineers struggle to understand. Cliff Palace, their masterpiece, housed 250 people in 217 rooms, carved directly into a sandstone cliff face, with 23 ceremonial chambers called kivas that served as the spiritual heart of their vertical community. But here's what makes this achievement truly mind-blowing. They built this architectural marvel without metal tools, without wheeled vehicles, without even beasts of burden to carry materials. The engineering precision required to construct these cliff dwellings demonstrates understanding of physics that wouldn't be formally recognized by Western science for centuries. They positioned their buildings to capture maximum solar energy during winter months, creating living spaces that stayed 10 to 20 degrees warmer than the mesa top above them. The southern exposure provided natural heating during the coldest months, while the cliff overhang protected residents from summer heat and winter storms. This wasn't accidental placement, it was sophisticated environmental engineering that created comfortable living conditions in one of Colorado's most challenging climates. Their construction techniques included mortar made from local clay, water, and ash that has remained intact for over 700 years, despite constant exposure to temperature extremes, wind, and precipitation. They transported thousands of tons of building materials across treacherous terrain using only human power, then assembled structures that required precise measurements and engineering calculations to prevent collapse. The fact that these buildings remain stable today, after centuries of weathering, demonstrates construction skills that rival modern techniques. The most remarkable aspect of Mesa Verde isn't just the buildings themselves, but the logistics of daily life in a vertical community. Residents had to haul water from springs located hundreds of feet below their homes, carry food and materials up cliff faces using hand-carved handholds, and maintain social structures that prevented conflicts in cramped quarters where privacy was impossible. They created a functioning society in conditions that would challenge modern urban planners with unlimited resources and advanced technology. Bandiagara Escarment. Stretching across 200 kilometers of Mali's most dramatic landscape, the Bandiagara Escarpment houses 289 Dogon villages that represent one of Africa's most impressive examples of vertical architecture. These communities have transformed a sandstone cliff face into a thriving civilization that supports hundreds of thousands of people in buildings that seem to defy gravity itself. The Dogon people didn't just adapt to cliff living, they perfected it, creating architectural techniques that have sustained their communities for over 800 years. The cliff villages feature mud brick demaro construction that uses local materials combined with traditional techniques passed down through generations of skilled builders. Their granaries, built into the most inaccessible parts of the cliff face, protect grain stores from theft, pests, and weather damage using location and design principles that work better than modern storage facilities. These structures remain dry during the rainy season, cool during intense heat, and secure from both human and animal threats. What makes the Doon Cliff settlements truly extraordinary is their integration with the natural environment. They've carved stairways directly into the rock face, created water collection systems that capture every drop of precious rainfall, and designed buildings that provide cooling through passive ventilation systems. Their construction techniques include sophisticated understanding of load distribution, water drainage, and structural stability that enables buildings to remain intact despite constant exposure to temperature extremes and seasonal storms. The social organization of Doon Cliff communities demonstrates how humans can create complex societies in seemingly impossible environments. Each village has elected headmen who coordinate resource sharing, manage conflicts, and maintain the traditional knowledge systems that keep these communities functioning. Their oral traditions include detailed information about construction techniques, seasonal patterns, and survival strategies that have been preserved for centuries without written records. Modern visitors to the Bandiagara Escarment often struggle to understand how these communities obtain basic necessities like water and food in such challenging terrain. The Dogon have developed ingenious solutions, including rainwater harvesting systems, terraced agriculture that maximizes limited growing space, and trading networks that connect cliff villages with lowland communities. Their success demonstrates that human creativity can overcome even the most daunting geographic challenges. Cappadocia. The volcanic landscape of Cappadocia in Turkey created natural conditions that enabled humans to build one of the world's most extensive underground civilizations. Derinkuyu, the largest of these subterranean cities, housed up to 20,000 people in a network of tunnels, chambers, and living spaces that extended 60 meters below ground level. This wasn't a temporary refuge. It was a fully functioning city with schools, churches, stables, and even wine cellars that supported entire communities for extended periods. The construction techniques used in Cappadocia required understanding of geology, engineering, and ventilation that rivals modern underground construction. The builders carved thousands of chambers from volcanic rock using only hand tools, creating spaces that provided comfortable living conditions despite being buried deep underground. Their ventilation systems included over 15,000 shafts that provided fresh air circulation throughout the complex, preventing the carbon dioxide buildup that would have made underground living impossible. What makes Cappadocia's underground cities truly remarkable is their integration with surface communities. Residents could move between underground and surface levels depending on external threats, seasonal conditions, and daily activities. The underground chambers served as cool retreats during summer heat, secure shelters during conflicts, and storage areas for food and supplies. Many families still use ground-level caverns as stables and storerooms, maintaining traditions that have continued for over 1,000 years. The social organization required to build and maintain these underground cities demonstrates cooperation on a scale that challenges modern community development. Thousands of workers coordinated their efforts over generations, creating interconnected systems that served multiple communities while maintaining defensive capabilities against invaders. The religious spaces carved into the rock include elaborate churches with frescoes that rival any surface cathedral, proving that these weren't desperate survival measures, but sophisticated urban planning. Modern visitors to Cappadocia can still experience underground living in hotels and restaurants carved into the volcanic rock, though these sanitized versions can't capture the full reality of communities that spent months at a time deep beneath the Earth's surface. The fairy chimneys that dot the landscape above ground represent only the visible portion of a civilization that created most of its living space in the hidden world below. Matera. Matera, Italy, holds the distinction of being Europe's oldest continuously inhabited city, with cave dwellings that have housed families for over 9,000 years. The Sassi districts, carved into limestone cliffs, demonstrate how humans can create beautiful, functional communities using only the materials nature provides. With 60,000 current residents, Matera proves that ancient building techniques can support modern populations when properly maintained and adapted. The construction techniques used in Matera required understanding of limestone geology that enabled builders to create structurally sound chambers within the rock face. They carved living spaces, churches, and public buildings directly into the cliff, using the natural properties of limestone to create comfortable environments that maintain stable temperatures year-round. The rock's insulation properties keep interiors cool during summer heat and warm during winter cold, eliminating the need for modern heating and cooling systems. What makes Matera's cave dwellings truly impressive is their integration with surface architecture. Many buildings combine carved chambers with conventional construction, creating multi-level homes that maximize living space while maintaining structural integrity. The rooftop terraces that cover underground chambers serve as courtyards and gathering spaces, creating community areas that connect neighbors and provide outdoor living space in the dense urban environment. The social history of Matera includes periods when the cave dwellings housed Italy's poorest families, in conditions that shocked government officials and international observers. However, recent renovation efforts have transformed these same spaces into luxury hotels and restaurants that attract visitors from around the world. This transformation demonstrates how traditional architecture can be adapted to modern needs, while preserving cultural heritage and historical significance. Modern Matera represents successful integration of ancient building techniques with contemporary amenities, including internet access, modern plumbing, and electrical systems installed in caves that were carved thousands of years ago. The city's designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site recognizes the importance of preserving these unique architectural traditions, while allowing continued human habitation and economic development. Kuba Pedi. In the heart of Australia's most hostile desert, where surface temperatures regularly exceed 50 degrees Celsius and rainfall is so rare that children grow up without ever seeing rain, the town of Kuba Pedi has created a thriving underground civilization that houses 1,700 residents in subterranean homes that never require heating or cooling. This isn't ancient history, it's modern survival innovation that proves humans can adapt to conditions that would kill most other living creatures. The opal mining that created Kuba Pedi's underground economy also provided the excavation techniques that enabled residents to carve comfortable living spaces from solid rock. Their underground homes maintain constant temperatures of 22 to 24 degrees Celsius year-round, providing relief from surface conditions that can swing from scorching heat to freezing cold within a single day. The mining equipment used to extract opals doubles as construction equipment for expanding underground living spaces. What makes Kuba Pedi truly extraordinary is the completeness of its underground infrastructure. The town includes underground churches, hotels, restaurants, and even a golf course that operates entirely below ground level. The Serbian Orthodox Church, carved into the rock face, features beautiful stone pillars and religious artwork that rival any surface cathedral. The underground hotel provides accommodations for visitors who want to experience subterranean living without the commitment of permanent residence. The social structure of Kuba Pedi demonstrates how mining communities can create stable societies in extreme environments. Residents from over 45 different countries have found common ground in their shared experience of underground living and opal mining. Their cultural diversity includes Greek, Italian, Aboriginal, and European traditions that have blended into a unique community identity based on adaptation to extreme conditions. Modern challenges facing Kuba Pedi include declining opal prices, tourism management, and infrastructure maintenance that becomes more complex as the underground community expands. However, the town's success demonstrates that human ingenuity can create comfortable living conditions in environments that seem completely unsuitable for human habitation, using technology and techniques that could be applied to space colonization and other extreme environments. Guadex. In the Andalusian region of Spain, the town of Guadex houses over 3,000 people in cave dwellings that have been continuously inhabited for over 500 years. These aren't primitive shelters, they're sophisticated homes with modern amenities that maintain perfect temperatures year-round without any artificial heating or cooling. The cave district, known as Barrio de las Cuevas, demonstrates how traditional architecture can support modern lifestyles while providing environmental benefits that surpass conventional housing. The construction techniques used in Guadex take advantage of the region's soft sandstone geology, which can be carved easily but hardens when exposed to air, creating structurally sound chambers that remain stable for centuries. The cave homes feature thick walls that provide excellent insulation, maintaining interior temperatures around 18 degrees Celsius regardless of external weather conditions. This natural climate control eliminates heating and cooling costs while providing comfort that rivals modern air conditioning systems. What makes Guadex's cave dwellings particularly impressive is their integration with modern infrastructure. Many caves include internet access, modern plumbing, and electrical systems that have been installed without compromising the traditional architecture. The chimney systems that dot the hillsides above the caves provide ventilation and heating for traditional fireplaces, while modern additions include satellite dishes and solar panels that enable contemporary communication and energy systems. The social organization of Guadex's cave community demonstrates successful preservation of traditional lifestyles within a modern Spanish municipality. Cave residents participate in local government, operate businesses, and maintain family traditions that have been passed down through generations of cave dwellers. Their cultural identity includes festivals, crafts, and culinary traditions that reflect their unique living environment, while connecting them to broader Spanish culture. Modern development in Guadex includes tourism initiatives that allow visitors to experience cave living in guest houses and hotels carved into the hillsides. These accommodations provide authentic cave experiences while generating income that supports the traditional community and encourages preservation of the unique architectural heritage. The success of these tourism ventures demonstrates growing appreciation for alternative housing solutions that provide environmental benefits and cultural authenticity. Kandovan. In the mountains of northwestern Iran, the village of Kandovan represents one of the world's most unusual examples of human adaptation to volcanic geology. The 670 residents live in cone-shaped homes carved directly into volcanic rock formations that were created by ancient eruptions. These natural structures provided the raw materials for a community that has thrived for over 700 years in conditions that would challenge modern engineers and architects. The construction techniques used in Kandovan require understanding of volcanic rock properties that enable residents to carve stable living spaces while maintaining structural integrity. The volcanic cones provide natural insulation that keeps interiors cool during summer heat and warm during winter cold, while the conical shape sheds water effectively and resists wind damage. The rock's composition includes air pockets that provide additional insulation, while remaining strong enough to support multi-story homes. What makes Kandovan truly remarkable is the integration of modern amenities with ancient architecture. Many cone homes include electricity, running water, and modern appliances that have been installed without compromising the traditional structure. The terraced gardens that surround the village provide food production while preventing erosion and maintaining the landscape that supports the community. These gardens demonstrate sophisticated understanding of mountain agriculture that maximizes limited growing space. The social structure of Kandovan includes family traditions that have been maintained for centuries, with homes passed down through generations and construction techniques preserved through oral traditions. The village operates as a functioning community with schools, mosques, and businesses that serve both residents and tourists. Their cultural identity includes crafts, foods, and festivals that reflect their unique living environment while connecting them to broader Iranian culture. Modern challenges facing Kandovan include tourism pressure, infrastructure development, and preservation of traditional building techniques as younger generations seek modern housing alternatives. However, the village's success demonstrates that ancient architectural solutions can support contemporary communities while providing environmental benefits and cultural authenticity that commercial developments cannot match. Ronda. Perched dramatically above the 120-meter-deep El Tajo Gorge in southern Spain, the city of Ronda houses 33,000 residents in a location that seems to defy logic and gravity. The famous Puente Nuevo Bridge, completed in 1793, spans the gorge and connects the ancient Moorish city with the newer sections, creating a unified community that has adapted to one of Europe's most challenging urban environments. This isn't just a tourist attraction, it's a functioning city where families have lived and worked for generations, despite the constant presence of a massive chasm that divides their community. The engineering challenges of building Ronda required construction techniques that could create stable foundations on cliff edges while spanning a gorge that would swallow most buildings whole. The Puente Nuevo took 42 years to complete and required innovative masonry techniques that could withstand both the structural stresses of spanning the gorge and the environmental challenges of wind, rain, and temperature extremes. The bridge's construction included chambers that served as both structural support and prison cells, demonstrating the multifunctional approach necessary for extreme location building. What makes Ronda particularly impressive is how the city has integrated the gorge into daily life, rather than treating it as an obstacle to overcome. The clifftop location provides natural defense that protected the city during centuries of conflict, while the dramatic views have made it a cultural center that attracted artists, writers, and intellectuals. The Bullring, one of Spain's oldest, takes advantage of the clifftop location to create a venue that combines traditional Spanish culture with breathtaking natural scenery. The social organization of Ronda demonstrates how communities can thrive in locations that would intimidate most urban planners. The city includes all the amenities of modern Spanish life: schools, hospitals, businesses, and cultural institutions, while maintaining the traditional architecture and cultural practices that reflect its unique geographic situation. Residents navigate narrow streets that border the cliff edge with casual confidence that comes from lifelong familiarity with extreme topography. Modern Ronda faces challenges that include tourism management, infrastructure maintenance, and preservation of traditional architecture while accommodating contemporary needs. The city's success demonstrates that human communities can adapt to almost any geographic challenge when they develop cultural practices and construction techniques that work with natural conditions rather than against them. Santorini. The Greek island of Santorini, formed by one of history's most catastrophic volcanic eruptions, houses 15,000 permanent residents in clifftop communities that overlook a sea-filled caldera 400 meters below. The towns of Fira and Oya, carved into volcanic cliffs, represent some of the world's most photographed architecture, but beneath the tourist appeal lies a functioning society that has adapted to life on the rim of an active volcano. The construction techniques used in Santorini required understanding of volcanic geology that enabled builders to create stable foundations on unstable ground. The traditional cave houses, carved directly into the volcanic rock, provide natural insulation and structural stability that conventional buildings cannot match. The white-painted exteriors reflect intense sunlight, while the thick walls maintain comfortable interior temperatures, despite external conditions that can exceed 40 degrees Celsius. What makes Santorini's cliff communities truly remarkable is their integration with the volcanic environment that created them. The pumice and volcanic ash provide building materials that are both lightweight and insulating, while the terraced vineyards demonstrate agricultural techniques that work with volcanic soil conditions to produce wines that cannot be replicated elsewhere. The social structure includes traditional communities that have maintained their cultural identity despite massive tourism pressure that brings over 2 million visitors annually. Local families operate businesses, maintain traditional crafts, and preserve cultural practices that reflect their unique relationship with the volcanic environment. Positano. Cascading down the cliffs of Italy's Amalfi coast like a waterfall of pastel-coloured houses, Positano challenges every assumption about urban planning and residential construction. The town's 4,000 permanent residents live in homes that are stacked vertically on slopes so steep that streets become staircases and gardens become terraces carved into the mountainside. This isn't just picturesque architecture, it's a functioning community that has solved the puzzle of creating livable spaces on terrain that would defeat most construction projects. The engineering required to build Positano included construction techniques that could create stable foundations on slopes that exceed 45 degrees while preventing erosion and landslides that could destroy entire neighborhoods. The traditional architecture uses local stone and construction methods that have been refined over centuries of experience with coastal cliff building. The terraced gardens that characterize the town provide both food production and slope stabilization that prevents the kind of erosion that would make cliffside living impossible. What makes Positano truly impressive is the integration of vertical transportation with daily life. The town includes a network of stairs, paths, and elevators that connect different levels of the community while providing access to homes that would be unreachable by conventional streets. The local bus system navigates hairpin turns and impossibly narrow roads that would challenge professional drivers, while pedestrian routes include staircases carved directly into the rock face. The social organization of Positano demonstrates how communities can maintain cultural identity while adapting to extreme geographic constraints. Local families have lived in the same cliffside homes for generations, maintaining traditions that include fishing, agriculture, and crafts that reflect their unique relationship with both the sea and the mountains. Their cultural identity includes festivals, foods, and customs that celebrate their dramatic natural environment while creating strong community bonds. Modern challenges facing Positano include tourism pressure, infrastructure maintenance, and preservation of traditional architecture while accommodating contemporary needs. The town's success demonstrates that human creativity can transform even the most challenging topography into desirable living spaces that combine natural beauty with functional design. If these incredible stories of human adaptation and architectural innovation amazed you, make sure to like this video and share it with someone who needs to see what humans are truly capable of when they refuse to accept limitations. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss these remarkable human stories that prove our species' unlimited potential for creativity, survival, and turning the impossible into everyday reality. The next time you think something can't be done, remember these cliff communities that turned vertical stone faces into thriving civilizations that have lasted for centuries.